RWBY Volume 6, Episode 4, so that's how it is. So, after, of course, the crazy episode of, just all the explanation of what the world is, how we got to what is now officially known as the world of Remnant, we come into this episode where no one likes Ozpin, and Ozpin kind of doesn't like himself, and he just locks himself away in the recesses of Oscar's mind. So, I don't think we'll be hearing from Ozpin for a little while. I feel like they might save his return for a really big moment, and it could end up coming from the older woman when she officially reveals, like, hey, I've got silver eyes. Ozpin will probably jump right on that, like, whoa, hey, let's talk. So we might see him come back a little bit later as they get towards the end of their journey with the older woman. But it was a good episode. We do find out towards the end of the last episode, or at the very end actually, that you can't kill Salem. Like, Salem is, like, she was literally cursed by the gods to be immortal. So there's nothing they can do. No matter what fights they go through, she'll heal. Like, she'll just survive it all. And so there's no way to officially stop her. They, of course, asked Ozpin, was like, well, if she can't be killed, like, what's your plan? Like, what's your plan to actually stop Salem? And it's like, I don't have one. Like, he doesn't know what to do. Which kind of leads into the whole idea of they're definitely going to seal her away and, that whole concept. I think it's already kind of been revealed, technically. RWBY turned a dragon into stone. There it is. So eventually she'll gain that control over her abilities and stuff like that. And when they get to, I would assume that would be way towards the end. They might do a thing where they kill Salem off and then Cinder becomes, like, officially the main villain again. They might or might not do that, but I assume that's what it's going to be. They're going to have to just, like, Medusa her, and then it's just like, all right, she's not dead. She's just trapped. She's turned to stone. Much like Cinder when she was turned, well, she wasn't turned to ice, but she was frozen in place. And then it's like, all right, well, nothing happened. She fell, and, like, the ice literally melted before she fell. Like, that was kind of revealed when she came back. She hit the water, and it was like, oh, okay, well, she hit the water, and she wasn't even frozen. So I think they need to stick with stone. But it should be interesting. And that, of course, I don't think will even happen this volume. I think they're going to save that for a minute. But, that's the main thing. It's like, obviously, it's going to be RWBY that does it. Main character, Silver Eyes, that whole deal. But yeah, it should be interesting when they eventually get to it and they kind of make an official plan to discuss what they're going to kind of come up with in order to survive, or I guess defeat Salem. But that's kind of my theory at this point. I think it's really the most common theory is like, all right, well, obviously with the silver eyes, this, she's going to be the one to defeat Salem. But I think they've already shown, and much like they do with everything in this show, where, like, we've already seen, like, every single person's semblance, but it's like, oh, you just didn't know you saw it. It's probably that sort of thing, but it's a lot more obvious. Like, RWBY froze a dragon, like, she turned it to stone. So I think that's what they're going to ultimately end up doing to Salem when we eventually get to that kind of way down the line. But really good episode. Like, I love what they did with Crow in this. He had, like, his one great moment when he punched Oscar, or technically Ozpin, and it was just a good moment where it was like, man, I trusted you. Like, me being basically cursed, I didn't have anyone that I could kind of fall in line with. I didn't have anyone that I could, stick with where it worked. And you gave me a purpose. You gave me, like, a new path in life to do something better, to fix the curse that I've been born with. You gave me a way to kind of do something good. And then it turns out all that's been fake, and you didn't really tell me the truth this whole time. And he even says, like, meeting you was the unluckiest thing that's ever happened to me. So it's just like, it was a really good moment. And he was the devout follower of the cause, is that sort of thing. And he's just like, it's over now. Like, we have no actual plan to defeat the main villain. She's literally immortal. So that just makes it even more of a challenge if, for whatever reason, they actually end up coming up against her. But it was a really good scene for his character. And now it kind of explains the extra, why the drinking was shown in the opening, where it's like, he drinks all the time. Now it's like, excuse me, he's not drinking just because he's, a weird alcoholic dude. He's drinking because now he's got a normal alcoholic problem where it's like, I have to drown my sorrows because my whole life, a giant chunk of my life that I thought was devoted to the most righteous cause has pretty much been all for naught. So love that idea. And, like, they have the scene where Oscar's like, I'm just another one of his lives. And RWBY, she gives him the normal hero thing. It's like, you're your own person. And Crow's just like, don't lie to him, RWBY. We're better than that. And it's just like, man, he's kind of broken at this point. And it was really well done. And like I said, Ozpin takes off, and the characters kind of just have to go forward And the older woman, I totally forgot her name, but she kind of rallies everybody. It's like, there's a trail, let's go that way. And so they end up, finding themselves in a house, and we'll probably get some exposition dumps in the next episode on who she is and where she came from and stuff like that. But which I don't mind. I want to know about her character because I think we all know that she does have silver eyes. So hopefully we'll get something cool out of that. But of course, the other half of this episode was the villains, which I thought was super weird. Maybe I'm crazy, but it's been 2 weeks and they were like just returning. I thought that was the weirdest thing. So I don't know if they're gonna say like that was technically at a different time, because I think they did that in this volume, or not in this volume, but I think they did that before, like when the characters are split up in volume 4, I believe. It was technically over like a decent chunk of time. It just didn't seem like it. It seemed like it was all concurrent, but the way the characters were traveling certain distances, it was like clearly there's like they're jumping back and forth through time. So I feel like that, I want to hope that that's what happened, because I'm like, why would it take them 2 full weeks on this plane to get there? And it's like, that just doesn't make any sense. But either way, this is Mercury, Emerald, and the big dude whose name I can never freaking remember, making their return, and they have to tell Salem like, yeah, we definitely screwed up. Cinder's gone, and that's what it is. And so of course Salem's super pissed. She does reveal to everyone that Cinder's alive, which I cannot wait to see. Like, I don't think I mentioned this in the last volume, but after Emerald freaked out, my first thing was like, I can't wait to see what they do with her character. Like, I was super excited just to see her transition. And now that Cinder's alive and they know that, she's probably just going to take off. I don't know how she could actually take off and not get, busted, but I'm looking forward to that. I want to see what they do with her character and just how things ultimately end up playing out. But I thought that was a great sequence, and Salem was already mad that they failed. And then it's like, I got some extra news, and then it's like, let me bring up my death hands on you again. It's like, the heroes survived, but they're also being led by Ozpin. And she flips. It's like, basically it was kind of just like, everybody needs to leave because it's about to get angry in here. So, she kicks everybody out and she does her evil scream. So she's a little pissed, and considering that moment where it's like she knows that Ozpin is the one that's leading the team, we might actually see them come up against her. I kind of doubt it, but if anything would make Salem leave her castle and not be like the villain at the the top of the tower, it's her coming up against her main rival, and it's the man that she used to love and had children with and stuff like that. She now knows where he's located, although I would assume that she knew where he was the whole time, because he was like headmaster and stuff. I'm like, I feel like that would be a little obvious, but at this point it should be interesting to see how this plays out, because I feel like that'll change the dynamic excuse me, now that she's gotten that that information. I think that'll kind of push her forward a little bit into, this is what we need to do next, and maybe skipping over certain plans that she initially had, because nothing's more entertaining than the villain who kind of just strays away from the plan because they just get super emotional, because that leads, especially when they're like as powerful as her. She's literally immortal. In some cases that can be boring, where it's like, oh, they just went crazy again. But when an immortal person goes crazy who literally cannot be killed, I feel like that could be fun. So we'll see what happens. They might not do that and she'll still be like the calm villain and she just has her outburst. But I would love to see her just go on a rampage. A lot of people would die. They wouldn't be able to. I feel like that would be some in-game type stuff. So maybe we won't see that, but that I think would be entertaining. So looking forward to the next episode. I'm really hoping that now that we've had, I guess at this point it would be 3 full episodes, even though one was a full flashback anyway. But we've had 3 full episodes since the premiere and the train crash. We need to get back to, Jean, Ren, and Nora. So I'm looking forward to what's going to happen with them. Hopefully they do show up in the next episode, and it's them basically, getting everyone to the train station. Maybe they'll even run into some other characters. I would love that. And then it's like, all right, we need to go find, we need to find Team RWBY and Crow and Ozpin and stuff. So we need to figure out where they're located, and then they, go on their journey, whoever ends up joining them, if no one else. And then we, kind of get to see things from their perspective as they're trying to get closer to Team RWBY. And then we have whatever's going on with Cinder. I would love to see more on Cinder, just because I want more of her story to kind of kick up, especially with the promo thing with whoever's attacking her. And the fact that, Roman's hat flies past her. I feel like that's Neo finding her in that village. So I hope that's the case. I would love to see that. But Either way, I'm looking forward to the next episode, of course. Would love to know what you guys thought about this one, so please put your comments down in the comment section below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And I would love to know what you guys thought about Ozpin actually taking off. Like him kind of just hiding himself away where, even Oscar can't actually reach him anymore. What do you think about that moment? And I would love to know your prediction on what you think will eventually get him to kind of pull himself back to the forefront. Like, what is he going to see that's going to make him say, I need to jump in again? Because I feel like they're going to save it. Excuse me. I feel like they're going to save it for a pretty decent moment. Whereas, like I said, for me, I still think it'll be the Silver Eyes element with the older lady, but there could be something that does ultimately happen before that reveal, and then he'll just happen to be there again for the Silver Eyes reveal. But that's my prediction. We'll love to know yours, and like I said, definitely want to know what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please put your comments down in the comment section below, and of course, thanks for watching.